First, I wanted to say thank you to Esther and Jerry for the sharing sometimes of little snippets from their lives, like losing the cap on the gas tank or the floors not coming out right. Because in my own personal journey, I think someone that might be able to channel Abraham, their life would be absolutely perfect all the time. And that life isn't perfect and that they always make the best of it is something that really helps me.
Well, what we would like to say about that is that life is always perfect in its incompletion. And you always are reaching toward the new standard that has just been born within you. In other words, in an evolving universe, it can never be perfect because that implies being finished, and it's never finished. And so you're always working toward your idea of what you want, and that idea is being born out of what you're living. The reason that sometimes in the early stages especially, Esther would have an experience, Esther and Jerry, and then Esther would say, Abraham better not blab that. Knowing full well that we were going to. And the reason that we so joyously express those things is because we would like all of you to begin relaxing in your understanding that you are an eternal work in progress. And when you hold anyone up as a perfect standard, you shoot yourself in the foot, because you then begin to expect something that is not possible in this evolving universe. So we think Jerry and Esther are perfect examples of joyous beings who never get it done.
And a little fine-tuning with my daughter. I'm blessed to live with a little girl who's 9 who reminds me of a short version of Mahatma Gandhi. And our lives are incredibly joyful together. And occasionally there are times when me going for my maximum joy and her going for her maximum joy are differing paths. And
yes, but they don't collide, do they? In other words,
sometimes they collide.
When she goes for her joy, does it hinder yours?
Extremely rarely.
How can that be?
You want a specific circumstance of this past summer, a very dear friend of mine's daughter was killed. And I wanted to go and be with that person because it was the only thing I could figure out to do. And my daughter, at that moment, made it like a competition that I needed to be with her or be with my friend.
Well, now, that has nothing to do with her reaching out for her joy and you reaching out for your joy. In other words, you're telling us an entirely different story than you started out to tell us. Think about it. In other words, when you tapped in an empathetic way to the grief of your friend, what do you think was the most active vibration within you when your friend lost her daughter? What do you think it activated within you in the most powerful way?
Sadness and empathy.
And why did it feel so powerful?
Because of my closeness to the other person.
Because of the closeness to your own daughter. In other words, as you empathized with her loss of her daughter, it activated within you this powerful desire to always be with your daughter. In other words, it activated within you your fear of losing her. And so as that vibration, which is not a normal vibration for you, was activated, can you see how it could influence your daughter into a little imbalance, made her more clingy? In other words, it was like you called up your desire for her to never be apart from you. At the same time, you were making a decision to be apart from her, and she was just responding to your vibration, not to your words. Now, the story that you teased us with was one where she's going to her joy and you're going to your joy, and it causes friction between you. But that's not the story you told us. Do you have an example of that?
We're usually on a very similar path. It was a conflict in desires, it felt like to me, that I wanted to be somewhere else in that circumstance.
Well, you were, for the first time in your little girl's reasoning experience, you were deliberately choosing to do something that was going to make you feel bad. And you felt like it was your path of least resistance. You felt like you didn't have a choice. You wanted to go and comfort your friend, but you were making a choice in a vibration that was so foreign to anything your little one had ever felt you feel that she wanted to cling to you in a measure of support, if nothing else. In other words, she didn't become your competition. You weren't competing for desires. In other words, you just got a vibration going within you that activated a vibration within her, and then the two of you just sort of wrestled with each other in these uncomfortable vibrations. But they were not vibrations of joy. And so we want to go back to your original question, which was, if my daughter is reaching for her joyful experience and I'm reaching for my joyful experience, what was the rest of your question?
Well, and they're different. How do I...
But
a bigger question is, how do I support her while I support me?
But here's the thing that we want you to hear. They're not different if they are both seeking joy. And that's the thing that we really want you to hear. You don't have to support her. The universe supports her. And she doesn't have to support you. The universe supports you. So if she finds something joyful that she wants and you find something joyful that you want, you're both supported by all that is. And you're not in competition with each other, you see. Do you have any examples that you want to chew on?
I guess I'm anticipating... As friends' children are older, and in the teenage years when the parents and the children seem to go different ways,
yes.
I'm looking ahead to that and thinking, well, how am I going to weather that and be together, be her friend, be her supporter, and
So you're afraid that in her quest for joy, she will choose to experience something that you would disapprove of?
I don't really know.
Well, we think that this is needless worry in advance.
Uh-huh.
And that's the worst kind of worry because you don't even have the vibrational elements in order to bridge yourself out of it. So let's isolate the feeling. I'm worried about a potential problem.
I don't actually spend a lot of time there, so it's not, because I spend most of my time with her in joy.
So when you came to the chair and you said you had 3 things you wanted to talk about, why do you think that was one of them?
Because it's so important to me to guide her and not control her.
And so you do think about it quite a bit. In other words, it is something that comes up a lot.
I think about the example that I am for her and being in alignment, being my best example that I can be for her.
So do you think it's possible, if you are consistently offering your example of alignment, that you could possibly do anything better for her than that?
No.
You started out by saying how much you appreciated Jerry and Esther's screw-ups.
And that they're not really screw-ups. You know, that they're examples of
not being where they really want to be and them working themselves back into where they want to be.
Right,
and
that
so,
it's all good.
And so can you give yourself the same benefit of the doubt for your daughter? In other words, I'm doing the best that I know how to do, and I'm always reaching for the ideal of being in alignment with who I really am. And sometimes I do better than others. You see, we do not think that there's a better example for someone to set than that I am consciously knowing the value of feeling good and working toward that every day. We think that is the best example or gift that you could give to anyone. And it's interesting that you started right there today appreciating Jerry and Esther for the same thing that now we are encouraging you to give yourself a break. You don't want Jerry and Esther to be this perfect pair. Well, maybe you do, but think about the downside of that. In their perfection, it would only help you to know you're less than perfection. In their perfection, it would only note their lack of ever reaching for anything beyond where they are. In other words, a person who has found this perfect balance cannot maintain it. It's like the man on the high wire. He cannot achieve balance and then stop moving. He has to keep moving in order to maintain his balance. And so do you. And so as you acknowledge that Jerry and Esther are maintaining their balance, joyfully always reaching, and you acknowledge that you are doing the same thing, and then you say, and this is the gift I give to my daughter, because how will she learn if not through the clarity of an example like mine? Then it all comes together, doesn't it? Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Did we get all 3 things?
You did. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much for taking my questions, and thank you for being there. Now, learning a little bit by little bit, becoming a deliberate creator, living my life most joyfully most of the time, some exceptions. Now, should I take the time joyfully to pre-pave my own transition? Should I think about when and how does it feel? Would that feel good? Would this feel good? And do Jerry and Esther?
Well, Esther has more recently been thinking of those things because of the experience that she's been having with her parents. But Esther has come to a new, and we think, very good conclusion. While it's more general than you are talking about, Esther says to Jerry, I want to be happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead.
Yes. That sounds good.
And we added to that, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead, happy, 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 happy.
Perfect.
And so you really don't have to do a lot of pre-paving about it. And sometimes when you start thinking about it, you can get more focused upon, well, I don't want to go that way, and I don't want to go that way, and I don't want that experience, which sort of may begin to activate that within you.
Right.
We think that intending to live is the best way to address your death, because there is no such thing as death. It's all about life.
Right.
And if you've made the decision to find the thought that feels the best, then you will move right through your death experience effortlessly, easily. So we would not think necessarily how will it come about and when will it occur, but we think it is a wonderful thing to intend to be joyful as long as you're in this body and mean every moment of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
That
indeed.
answers everything. Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed. Yes.
Hi. I wanted to tell you first that this is my first experience with you live, and it's really awesome, and I appreciate being here. Sometimes when my girls are just, they're really angry, they're really acting out
And
something.
why would that be? Because anger feels better than
whatever.
disempowerment. And so, good for you, girls.
But sometimes all I do is I just open up my arms and I said, do you want to come here? Do you want me to hold you? And sometimes it's like it just dissolves. It's
Good.
I mean,
Then they made the bridge easily. And little
Yeah.
ones can make it more easily because they have very little baggage that they're dragging around. In other words, everything that we said to you about you today, about those long and gradual pivots, do not really apply to the little ones. They can pivot much more quickly.
Okay, so
because
that's
they don't have all of that baggage there.
But that's in no way squelching anything. That's just letting them come to a different place.
Take the joy any way you can get it.
Okay.
If you can open your arms and melt away their resistance, then do it. And if it would work for you here, we would do it.
Well, it's interesting, Marvel, when she was 2 years old, she was having night terrors. And, she was screaming and keeping everybody else up, and she couldn't get out of the night terror. And I took her into the kitchen on the floor, which was about the only place as far away from anybody that I could find. And I held her, and I just started giving her light because I didn't know what else to do. I just started sending her light. And she turned around and she looked at me and she said, "Don't ever do that again." And then I just realized that she's got extremely definite ideas about what's appropriate with her and what's not. And she wasn't going to allow.
She wants to run her show, and we want her to too. And if you will let her run her show, she'll be delightful to live with. If you try to run her show, she'll give you more grief than you have ever imagined.
It's true. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is lovely to come together with powerful creators like you. Be easy about all of this. Be playful about all of this. Take your time in it and enjoy it. Savor it. Savor your angry fits. You know the context in which we mean that. There is great love here for you. We are complete.